I'm willing to bet that you know what ChatGPT is, what Gemini is. I'm also willing to bet that you have seen all kinds of AI-generated videos and photos on social media. And all this AI buzz, people are talking about how it's going to maybe destroy jobs, how it's going to affect Hollywood, that people are generating complete movies using AI, photos, graphic designers, everybody's going to be affected by it. But I think what most people don't know is that AI right now is poised to change the world as we know it in terms of healthcare. It's going to increase our lifespan, make creating new drugs much faster and much more efficient, and even perhaps maybe destroy death. We'll talk about that today. So today I will discuss with you 3 ways in which AI is going to make our lives better in terms of our health, in terms of destroying disease. The first point is speeding drug discovery. So the process of creating a new drug is very complicated and very expensive. I've seen interviews before by drug discovery experts who do maintain that only 1 out of 20 drug discovery engineers, let's call them, actually manages to take that drug into the market. So the process of creating the drug is very expensive. It costs millions of dollars. Some drugs cost up to $1 billion. So the situation is very expensive. The process of creating a new drug is very complicated. You need a lot of research and development, a lot of effort put into it, many years in research. But what's happening now with AI is that the same technology that can be used by ChatGPT or by these diffusion models that create videos and photos for us, the same technology can be used to predict the patterns of building proteins, building molecules. So as we know, the language of our biology is that our bodies are incredibly complex. So the body that we have is made of up to billions and trillions of tiny building blocks. They're called proteins, right? And diseases often happen when these building blocks don't work correctly. So what happens when it comes to AI is that AI models, there's a very famous company now called AlphaFold that belongs to Google. It's making huge strides in terms of progress towards building new drugs. What AlphaFold is doing is that it's using AI to accurately predict the 3D shapes of these proteins. So imagine having detailed a map of your body, right? A detailed blueprint of your body. And this blueprint basically shows us every tiny machine in this body that we have. So using that blueprint and using the pattern recognition powers of AI, we can design new drugs that can perfectly fit the specific condition and the specific body that is struggling from this condition. Okay, so a real world example of this would be like when AlphaFold helped scientists understand complex proteins linked to diseases like cancer and Parkinson's. So the research that is done by AlphaFold with the help of AI actually is helping them try to understand what kind of drugs can be developed for certain kinds of cancers. The other thing about creating new drugs is designing new molecules from scratch. So instead of just depending on existing molecules that normally pharmaceutical companies would try to use and try to experiment with to create new drugs, AI can actually design brand new drug compounds, tailor-made, okay, to fight specific diseases. A real-world example of this would be a company called Insilico Medicine. That company created a new drug for a condition called Idiopathic Pulmonary Fibrosis, or IPF. This condition is basically chronic and deadly lung disease. The drug that Insilico Medicine developed reached phase 2 clinical trial in a record time. And this is quite a huge achievement because going from phase 1 to phase 2 in terms of clinical trials normally takes a lot of time and takes a lot of effort. And to be able to actually develop a drug from scratch using AI and that drug making it to phase 2 clinical trial is great news. And keep in mind that we've only just started, right? Another thing we can do, so instead of AI creating a brand new molecule, there's something called drug repurposing. So sometimes a drug is designed for one illness, and it might actually be effective against another. AI can now quickly scan thousands of existing approved drugs and identify the hidden superpowers of these drugs. Okay, a real life example of this would be a company called Recursion Pharmaceuticals, and this company basically focuses heavily on this particular aspect of using AI, where it identifies potential drug candidates for rare diseases like cerebral cavernous malformation. Okay, and this is a rare genetic syndrome that can cause strokes. So this is in terms of drug discovery and drug development using AI. The second thing that AI can be used for is precision medicine. So this is when the medicine that is being maybe diagnosed or developed or prescribed to you, this would be done specifically for your body, for the person who's struggling from that specific condition, because AI now can do something called like personalized treatment plans. So AI can analyze your individual genetic makeup, lifestyle, medical history, and then takes all that information and recommends the exact drug that would be perfect for you. Okay. In cancer treatment, for example, AI can analyze genetic mutations in the tumor, in the patient's tumor, to recommend the most effective chemotherapy or targeted therapy, and that increases success rates and reduces side effects. Okay. Another thing is smarter and earlier diagnostics. So AI can now detect diseases or cancers way earlier than existing doctors. So because AI is very good at detecting patterns, okay, and radiology now is all about seeing these patterns, AI now is very effective at detecting early stages of cancer, okay, and can also recommend the most effective chemotherapy or targeted therapy for increasing success rates when it comes to treating such cancer. Okay, so it detects that early and is also much smarter, much faster, and like I said, much earlier than human doctors can do. And this is happening right now. AI is starting to take over and starting to prove its worth when it comes to detection. AI can also analyze mammograms, detect early signs of breast cancers, like I said, with incredible precision. The systems are now being developed to detect early Alzheimer's as well by analyzing brain scans for subtle indicators. So when you think about it, everything that has to do with detecting patterns, that's what AI excels at, and that's why we have such a huge potential when it comes to AI treating diseases and making our lives last longer and much healthier. The third thing about using AI in healthcare is using it in everyday healthcare, meaning that you can now, using AI, you can now create certain devices that can be carried with you all the time to detect the way your body is working and alarm your doctor if something is going wrong. So it's like a monitoring device using AI. So if you are under threat of having a heart attack, or you have diabetes, or you have high blood pressure, these devices can now be put on your body and they detect all that. And if they see a pattern, if they detect that you have some kind of a malfunction, then they can do that very early and they can send a notification to your doctor, or maybe even to the ambulance, to your nearest hospital. All that is going to be happening in the near future. Also, robots will be used to assist doctors. So right now, doctors spend way too much of their times doing paperwork. What's going to happen with AI is that a lot of that paperwork is going to be done by certain AI systems. So doctors can actually use that time to see patients instead of just spending half of their day filling forms. Okay. And one thing also is that AI now can be used to predict disease outbreaks. So the more powerful these AI systems get, and the more data we can feed them, the more accurate they're going to be to predict pandemics, for example. So something like COVID-19, before they were using traditional systems that proved to be not very accurate. But now, with AI, in the future, these systems will be far more accurate because they have so much data and so much training data for them to be very accurate. So this is the promising future of using AI in healthcare. It's much more than just ChatGPT, much more than a chatbot. It's much more than Midjourney, a place where you can create photos. It's much more than VO3, where you can create videos. The same technology that we're having now, there are people working very hard to use it to create new drugs and to make our lives far more healthier and to bring us further away from death as much as possible. So this is today what I wanted to say about the progress when it comes to AI being used in eliminating diseases and in creating a healthier and better lives for us. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.